Hey guys, so in today's video I thought I would talk about mindfulness. It's a word that has been used a lot recently, and I feel like there's so much going on in the media about it. There are so many books that are all based around the topic that it's kind of confusing to figure out what mindfulness really means. And a couple of weeks ago I was giving a talk about this, and one thing that became really obvious to me, it was kind of a Q&A open discussion, is that mindfulness is actually a really unique concept. So for me, mindfulness is about generating a greater sense of awareness in my life. And with that, it helps me to connect to myself, to understand myself better, and to peel back all of the distractions that are going on from the world around me, and instead become a little bit more connected to myself. And so mindfulness and a mindfulness practice for me is quite a dynamic process, and from one day to the next, it doesn't necessarily show itself in the same way. So, for example, meditation and yoga are part of my mindfulness practice. But where the word mindfulness really comes into play is when I take those practices off the mat or out of my meditation space, wherever that may be, and bring it into the real world, into real life. Because for me, that's where it really matters. But there are so many different ways in which we can practice being mindful. And for each of you, it may mean something really different. And the way in which you're able to connect to being more mindful might be something that's really unique to you. So for example, I was talking to a man the other day who said that his practice of mindfulness is getting up every morning and walking his dog and just being there, being in his own thoughts without distractions, without his mobile phone, and just being in that space and allowing himself just to absorb everything that's going on. And that sets up his day in a much more mindful way than on the days where, for example, he might not walk his dog. For somebody else, their mindfulness practice might be a really strict meditation practice that presents itself in the same way every single day in the same place. And that helps them to connect. That formality, that kind of frequency is something that works for them. But the idea of mindfulness and what all of these different books and all of these different people talking about it are coming to show is that it doesn't mean one thing. So, of course, we're trying to generate a greater sense of awareness. But awareness of what? And how are we going to get there? What is it that we can do for ourselves to help us be more mindful? So take inspiration from everyone around you. Have a look, see what other people do to connect to themselves. But then just let that go. Allow that to be their practice. And instead, think about this really dynamic process of figuring out what it is that helps you to feel more connected. Is that yoga? Is that sitting down and reading a book? Is that taking a walk and leaving your phone at home? Is that being in the presence of certain people? Is it thinking about the breath? Is it just sitting for a few moments and breathing in a conscious way? So what is mindfulness? The answer is that it is something different for each of us. But if we want to develop a mindfulness practice, it isn't about what anybody else is doing. It's about finding something that helps us to feel more connected to ourselves in a way that works for us. And if that works for us today, but it doesn't feel right tomorrow, then that is all part of the process, and that is part of developing a practice. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see more from me, then please subscribe to my channel. I've got lots more to share. And if you have any questions, leave them in the box below and I'll get back to you soon. Bye.